Until I started doing research, I never really knew how much free organic sheep feed could be produced from the honey locust tree. This one honey locust tree that sits in front of my house is producing anywhere from 300 to 400 pounds of sheep feed, high quality sheep feed, and there's nothing I've got to do. It disperses the feed to the sheep all winter long. It'll hold on to the pods and give them what they need, and it disperses it for several months. Now, if you look at the pods of the honey locust tree and open them up, they've got like a sweet smell to them. They've got a pulp that's got a very sweet and pleasant smell to it, and they're packed full of these seeds too as well. So if I can open it up with a knife without cutting myself, you can see these seeds that are going all the way down the length of the pod. They're full of these seeds, which will bring more honey locust trees. Now the seeds are indigestible to deer and also to cows, but they are digestible for sheep. So these other animals will eat these pods, and then they'll poop out these seeds, and that's what spreads the honey locust, where you find it coming up just about everywhere. So to back up what I learned about the honey locust tree and the pods being so beneficial to sheep, I found this article from the University of Virginia about using the honey locust tree for agricultural forestry. And I'll put a link in the description below that'll let you see this article for yourself. But what it tells us is that the honey locust tree is so valuable, it's now being grown all around the world. It's being used in Europe, Algeria, South Africa, New Zealand, and Australia, as well as India, Bhutan, Pakistan, and Nepal. The honey locust tree is very winter hardy. It's good down to 34 below centigrade, which is minus 29 Fahrenheit. And it does well in the standard pH range of 6 to 8 pH, with 7 being neutral. It's also drought resistant, and if you've got even just 20 inches of rain a year, the honey locust tree can grow where you live. And from just a single tree, the honey locust tree can produce up to 396 pounds of pods from a single tree. That's like a mature tree like I have out in my front yard. Even 10-year-old trees can produce about nearly 100 pounds of pods per tree, so they're valuable, and they come out in a pretty quick period of time. The other thing to notice is that honey locust is naturally biennial, which means it will produce more every other year. Some years it might be a little bit less. It looks like it's the same to me, but they do say it's biennial. I guess it produces a greater amount every 2 years. And the seeds will start to get ripe in September and October, and they'll start dropping probably the end of October, 1st November. But the tree will hang on to pods all through the winter and drop them just kind of as you need the sheep to eat them. So they're always a way to get free sheep feed all through the winter. And it really fattens up the sheep and helps them get through the cold part of the winter. The nutritional value of the pods is rated somewhere between barley and oats. It's just incredible. It has a sugar content of 30% and a digestible protein content of 5%. Which is very good. Now here's the interesting part. Sheep are able to digest the hard honey locust seed, and they get all the benefit out of that. But cattle are not able to digest the honey locust seeds, and so you got to grind the pods up to give them the full protein value. So it's an easy sheep feed. You can use it for cattle, but you got to do a little bit more work. And the honey locust pods are good for sheep, cattle, and even goats. And even the leaves and the twigs, they're also high in nutrition. They have energy, calories, pounds, sugars, minerals, and crude protein. So you can actually take the leaf and twig fodder and grind that up for your livestock as well. So there's a lot more than just the pods that the sheep can eat. For people who want to plant honey locust and use them for agriculture, it's recommended you plant them between 15 to 30 feet apart in a square to create a pasture orchard that will produce this free food for your animals. Also, honey locust doesn't hurt your grass production. It has kind of a light shade to it, which minimizes the negative effects a tree would otherwise have on summer grass production. The grass will grow well under the honey locust right up to the trunk of the tree, and I've seen that myself. It doesn't seem to affect the grass that much. And the leaves on the honey locust will come out late in the spring, and they'll drop off earlier in the fall, and so that doesn't shade the grass during these seasons at all. The other thing to notice is that the honey locust is polygamo-dioecious, and what that means is that a dioecious tree will have a male tree and a female tree. And the polygamo means it can have both on the same tree as well. But that means that if you see a tree that's not producing any pods, it could be a male tree, so don't cut it down. You need at least one of these male trees that doesn't produce anything to pollinate at least 15 to 20 of the female trees. And you really can't tell which ones are males or females until they're like 5 to 7 years old. You look at the flowers, there's a stamina and a pistil type flowers. There's two different kinds of flowers on them. But the important thing is not to cut down all the trees that are not producing pods. They could be the males that you're dependent on. And yes, they do have thorns on them up to 14 inches long. They can go right through your boot. They can hurt livestock as well, and even puncture your tractor tires. So a lot of people will cut down the tree for that reason, but you really need to keep it. Especially if you're raising sheep. I mean, they're valuable. And they'll pop up just about anywhere because animals like deer and cow will eat them, and they'll defecate them, and they'll pop up these seeds and drop these seeds all over your place. I think also the birds pick them up and take them somehow, because I've found some that that's the only way they could have gotten there. So they're very prolific, and they show up in places you wouldn't imagine they would. And the honey locust tree is very valuable economically. Looking at getting this free feed. And so they're looking at the rates of return for a silvopasture or agricultural use of trees with the honey locust with sheep. It ranges anywhere from 9% to 25% a year. So you're making money off these trees just like you would anything else if you go out and plant them. The natural range of the honey locust tree is anything west of the Appalachians, and then down through the deep south and back up even through Iowa and Michigan nearly. So all through Texas. So there's a lot of places where it could be planted that it's not been planted yet. But it is an invasive species. Here's what I've got next to my shop. I've cut it down several times. It keeps coming back up from the roots. It's got these, you can see the leaves on it when it's younger like that. And it's got thorns on it, of course. But it's hard to get rid of when it's small. When it's bigger, you can cut them down, they won't come back. But when they're small, for some reason, they'll spring right back up from the roots, and you might have a hard time with it if you don't want it to be there. And honestly, it's a nasty looking tree. It's got thorns all over it. You've seen them other places, I'm sure, but it's not something you would plant for aesthetic value. But it does show up, and once it gets into your place, you're going to have them. And before I knew better, I used to cut them down and use them for firewood and knock all the thorns off them because I thought they were just a pesky tree. But now I know better, and now I'm keeping all my honey locusts growing on my property because I raise sheep. And you look at all the pods this tree drops on the ground, how many there are. Just a ton of food. The sheep come up here and they eat all the time. They get fat off this. And so it's a very beneficial tree. It produces food for the sheep. I don't have to feed them anything. It's 100% organic, no chemicals, nothing. It gets dispensed by itself. I don't have to load up or store it. It gets stored on the tree. The tree drops it. Kind of like God made it for us. That's one thing I can figure. And it's beautiful. It's what they eat, and they love it. Well, thanks for watching the video.